The nervous system. Fight or flight. Parasympathetic. Sympathetic. What the heck is all of this? Why do you even need to know or care? Let's dive in. Hey there, feeling lost in the sea of confusing health tips? Think nothing works for you? Well, don't sweat it. You're not broken and there are better days ahead. I'm Jolene, a nutritional therapy practitioner and BFF on this wild ride. Welcome to Holistic Health Made Simple, where we embrace empowered eating and reclaim control. Let's feed our body, mind, and soul to unlock true health. So grab your water bottle, pop in those earbuds, and let's get this party started. Hey there. So often we focus solely on what we eat, how we exercise, if we're getting enough sleep, and how to reduce stress. But those of us, myself included, who struggle with yo-yo dieting over the years, who have struggled with other things in their life, need to take a little bit more interest in their nervous system, because your nervous system is your command center. Think of it like a puppeteer. It's pulling all these strings, and it's influencing everything from your hormones, your immune system, your digestion, mood, and sleep, and the list goes on and on. And that's why so many are turning to what we call nervous system regulation to improve our health. It'll also improve our happiness, and we know when we're happier, it's easier to stay with those healthy habits. So what exactly is this autonomic nervous system? It's often abbreviated as ANS, but think of it like your body's autopilot. It's controlling the things you don't need to think about, like breathing, your heart rate, your digestion. We don't actually think about those things. They just kind of happen. But they happen within our nervous system. So there's two main players in our autonomic nervous system. They are the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is basically your fight or flight response. It's the one that mobilizes all your resources to respond to stress. It acts like your gas pedal, revving you up for action. Makes you go, go, go. And then your parasympathetic nervous system, which is basically the opposite. It's your rest and digest mode. This one promotes relaxation and kind of helps you chill out. Think of it like a brake pedal, bringing you back to calm. So we've got, the gas pedal and the brake pedal. Both of these systems are crucial. The sympathetic system helps you jump into action when you're stressed out, and the parasympathetic system helps you recover and recharge. It brings you back to that calm. So the problem arises when the system gets dysregulated. It happens when these systems kind of get out of whack, out of balance, that whole body imbalance thing. And it's caused by numerous things like stress, trauma, overwork, poor sleep, or even eating too many tacos. Okay, I know. Just kidding about the tacos, but not really. You get my point. Overeating will cause dysregulations. So if the sympathetic system takes over, stress hormones skyrocket, turning you into a bundle of nerves. But the opposite, if the parasympathetic system goes on overdrive, you might feel like a sloth on a lazy Sunday. That means you just don't want to get out of bed. You might be thinking having that parasympathetic thing out of whack isn't such a bad thing, but you don't really want to live your life not having the energy to do anything at all. So some signs of a dysregulated nervous system would be things like anxiety, panic attacks, mood swings, irritability, agitation, digestion problems, poor sleep, persistent fatigue, trouble concentrating, chronic pain, headaches, migraines. You get the drift. It's not pleasant. We really want a healthy nervous system. And that's more like a finely tuned orchestra. It seamlessly shifts from survival mode to safety, back and forth. But with all the bills, traffic, and overpacked schedules, modern life throws us curveballs all the time. It's no wonder our nervous system is so dysregulated. And it's so common to be this way. We just want to find our zen. That's a regulated nervous system, is when we're at calm, even when life is throwing us all these things. And there are tons of tools to help you to do this. Many we are going to share in a few minutes. each one sends that chill out signal to your brain to bring your nervous system back into balance. But first, let's touch base on what the vagus nerve is. It's also known as the vasovagal nerve. There's lots of names for it, but it's really important because we often ignore it. Most people don't even know it exists. So what exactly is the vagus nerve? It's the VIP of nerves. It is the nerve that connects your brain, heart, and gut, playing that crucial role in the parasympathetic nervous system. When it's stimulated, it helps you feel like you're lounging in a hammock on a tropical beach. That's why many nervous system tools target the vagus nerve. It's important. We talked about it in the last episode a little bit of how important it is to get that gut and brain connection. Well, the vagus nerve is what connects that and helps us stay regulated. So we've gone over the basics of the autonomic nervous system. We don't need to go into depth about all the science and all the neurons and all that stuff. What we need to know is the basics. And what we really need to know are parasympathetic, you need to remember that's the calm, and sympathetic, that's your fight or flight. And then we need to know ways we can address a dysregulated system. Now we know that life triggers our sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight system, just normal everyday stress. And not dealing with that normal everyday stress has put us in kind of a problem area in our whole body. That's where those of us who have yo-yo dieted our entire life, we've never dealt with bringing ourselves back to the calm. And so every time we get and we do very well at something, at a diet specifically, we lose weight, we feel healthier, life starts ganging up on us, and we get into that permanent sympathetic mode again, where we can't get out of it because we're not addressing it. It's just building. The stress is just building and building and building. Now, there's good stress and bad stress, but it's just building. So we need to start using tools to bring ourselves back down into that parasympathetic mode. The more we can have both sides balanced out, the healthier we're going to be and the more successful we're going to be on our health and weight loss journey. So now it's time to dive into these tools, because that's the meat of this episode, is the tools to get our body back to normal. And some of these I've talked about before, but like life, we often have to hear things over and over and over again before they stick. So if you know you're struggling with a dysregulated nervous system, come back and listen to this episode over and over again so you can keep learning and reinforcing these tools that I'm talking about today. Our first tool is mindfulness. Yes, we've talked about it before, but it's important that we talk about it again. Awareness is the first step to changing anything at all, including your nervous system. Your thoughts, emotions, physical sensations, and responses to stimuli all trigger stress. So the more you stay present in the moment, be present being, the more you catch those stress signals early. So how do you bring this present moment awareness? How do you do it? That's mindfulness. By practicing mindfulness, it helps you become aware of your thoughts and your emotions and sensations and the surroundings in the present moment without any judgment. You just have to be aware of your surroundings. So some of the steps to practice mindfulness is observe your thoughts. Notice anytime you're ruminating about the past or worrying about the future, bring yourself back to the present moment. Those thoughts about the past and the future don't help you right now in the situation you're in right now. Be where you're at. Live where you're at right now. Another mindfulness practice is to engage all 5 senses. Tune into what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're feeling, what you're smelling, what you're tasting at each moment. Again, that's part of being present, but engage them. Feel it. Taste your food. Smell your food. Smell the air around you. Enjoy the birds singing and just be present in the moment. Engage your senses. And another practice is mindful eating. Again, put all of your attention on your food. appreciating the subtle nuances of all the flavors. And another practice would be single tasking. It's a hard word. We like to multitask, but resist that urge and do one task at a time, whether that's driving, doing the dishes, or sipping a cup of tea. Science has actually shown that people think they're good at multitasking. They're actually not. So if you do one task at a time, you'll get it done with less stress, and it will be more efficient, more accurate, depending on what the task is, and it will get done faster. Tool number 2 is breath work. And I've talked about it before. But in regards to your nervous system controls your breath. So when you're stressed, your breathing becomes shallow and fast. But when you're relaxed, breathing is slow and deep. The good news is you can consciously change your breath to influence your nervous system. That's what breath work is. Taking slow, deep breaths is like sending a chill pill to your brain. So if you're sitting in a meeting or your boss is saying some nasty things now, I'm going to get into some deep breathing exercises, but this one's simple. Just take a deep breath. Don't sigh, because then they're going to side-eye you, but just go take a deep breath in through your nose and out, and try to keep it as mellow as possible, but that'll help calm you down. Even though that's not an official deep breathing exercise, it will help. And some of the official deep breathing exercises are things like box breathing. Basically, you inhale slowly through your nose for 4 counts. You hold it for 4 counts. You exhale through your nose for 4 counts and then hold again for 4 counts. And then you can repeat it for 10 or more rounds. That's not going to work in a meeting. But it will work if you step into the bathroom and get away from the situation. A physiological sigh. Okay, that's kind of what I was talking about, but what I was talking about with no noise. So you take 2 deep inhales through your nose, followed by 1 long, slow exhale through the mouth. And it's like a double shot of calm. Now, if you can master that without any noise or without anyone really noticing, you can do that in front of your boss. Next, we have alternate nostril breathing. Basically, you breathe through one nostril at a time and out through the opposite. It's said to balance your right and left hemispheres of your brain. So basically, you put your finger over one side and breathe in, and then put your finger over the other side and breathe out. You also can breathe in and out of one side and then in and out of the other, but I've always been taught to breathe in through one side and out through the other, and then repeat it the opposite way. Then lastly, we've got belly breathing. It's also known as diaphragmatic breathing. This breathing pattern stimulates the vagus nerve, so it helps trigger that relaxation response. And basically, you're going to breathe slowly through your nose, inhaling through your nose, and letting the air go deep into your belly. Rather than filling up your lungs and making your chest expand, you want to make your belly expand. And then you just breathe it out slowly. So those are our deep breathing tools. And now we're going to move on to tool number 3, which is movement. Move that body, move that body. We know exercise has endless benefits for your physical and mental health. It burns off stress, it relieves muscle tension, it boosts your mood, and it improves sleep quality, all of which benefit your nervous system. Just don't go overboard. You see, intense exercise without enough recovery in between causes more stress. So we got to find that fine balance. You know, that whole thing, if you've ever listened to my story, I was working out 6 to 7 days a week, 2 to 3 hours a day. That wasn't helping balance my nervous system. If anything, that was putting me more often into that fight or flight mode. So we want to make sure that we're not overdoing it. The best exercises to help regulate your nervous system come pretty much into 2 categories. One would be mindful exercise, which are things like yoga, tai chi, qigong. They all help calm the nervous system because they help you slow your breath down, tune into your body, and release tension all at the same time as you're doing these practices. The other category is light to moderate exercise. Now, these are things like walking and dancing, biking, swimming, jogging, or hiking. They all help you tune into your body and then let go of stress. They trigger a release of endorphins, which is your body's natural feel-good chemicals. So that's why we like these exercises. You can also do light weights, or as long as you're not doing hit and heavy stuff all the time, because we're trying to regulate our nervous system. So we don't want to put a lot of excessive stress, and weights sometimes can do that. So if you're going to do light weights, that's okay. Heavy weights, hard, leave that to once or twice a week for now, until your system is in a more regulated stage, or balance it out. Do 2 to 3 days of hard and heavy weights, and then take 2 to 3 days and do all of something like yoga or tai chi, dancing, things that will help bring you back down and calm your nervous system. Tool 4 is nature. Why? Because nature is like a spa day for your nervous system. Forest bathing, which is basically just spending time in nature, can lower your blood pressure, lower your heart rate, lower your stress hormones. Nature, free, outside, trees, ground. It's pretty easy. Try to squeeze in outdoor time whenever you can. Play in the garden, hike, go to a park, or simply sip on some tea on your porch and listen to the birds. Another thing we like to do in nature is called grounding. It's also known as earthing. It is basically making contact with the earth. It connects you with the earth's electrical charge. And I know it sounds woo, but there's a lot of science behind this. It will help you ground your nervous system. Ways to practice grounding are pretty simple. Walk barefoot in the grass. Lie on the ground. Play in the garden. Take a walk on the beach or play in the sand. Submerge your body in a natural body of water, like an ocean, a stream, a lake, a river, whatever. Try a grounding tool. Now, I've not tried these yet, but there are earthing shoes, earthing mats, especially if you live someplace where it gets a lot of snow and then being outside isn't going to be very helpful to the grounding experience. In the winter, you can try a grounding tool. Tool 5, vagal toning. When the vagus nerve is stimulated, yes, we've already talked about this, it helps you feel calm and relaxed. The good news is there are simple practices that can help stimulate the vagus nerve and help you build vagal tone. So when it's toned, it helps bring you back to that calm and relaxed phase a lot easier. So ways we stimulate the vagus nerve: singing, humming, and gargling. Anytime your vocal cords vibrate, it activates your vagal nerve. So go ahead, belt out your favorite tune. If you don't sing very well, don't worry about it. Just sing in private. Trust me, it will make you feel a lot better. Laughter. A good laugh activates your diaphragm and stimulates your vagus nerve. Laughter also reduces anxiety, boosts your mood, and strengthens your immune system. So look for opportunities to laugh whenever you can. You know, oftentimes we say things like, I gotta laugh, otherwise I'll cry, because laughter is bringing your body back down to a calm state. And then lastly, cold water therapy. Not my favorite thing. I'm going to tell you, I don't like the cold. Exposing your body to cold water stimulates the vagus nerve. But you don't have to do a cold plunge. And this is why I can actually do some of these cold therapy practices. Splash some cold water on your face. Submerge your face in a bowl of cold ice water. Place an ice pack on the back of your neck. Or switch to cold water for the last 30 seconds of your shower. And ladies, if you rinse your hair in this cold water for the last 30 seconds of your shower, it closes the cuticles and helps keep it looking healthy and shiny. But if you're afraid of a cold shower, let me just explain. You don't have to start with the 30 seconds. You could start with 5 and build up from there. I also usually suggest only doing it in the morning because your body will do the opposite. So if you put cold on your body, you actually will warm up faster in the morning, and we want to get our body temperature up in the morning. But at night, we want our body temperature to cool down to sleep. We don't really want it to raise to go to sleep. So be mindful of when you're doing this cold therapy. Sometimes an ice pack on the back of the neck is the simplest way of doing it and the less offensive if you're not a biggest fan of the cold. The last tool number 6, is somatics. Now, I know somatics might be new to many of you. When our system is dysregulated, it's easy to get stuck in our head. Somatic practices help you pull back into your body. So we really want to get out of our head and overthinking everything and back into our body to start relaxing. Some of these somatic tools are things like physical touch, things like skin-to-skin contact, hugging, cuddling, holding hands, enjoying a massage. They all trigger the release of oxytocin, which promotes feelings of health and well-being and happiness. So physical touch is a great one. Emotional freedom technique, known as EFT, also known as tapping. This involves tapping on certain acupoints while focusing on a negative thought or belief causing the distress. Research suggests it actually reduces stress and anxiety. So we're kind of like tapping in these points, thinking of that negative thought and releasing it. It's kind of how it works, or at least how it works in my brain. And lastly, we have things like somatic exercises. These are movements that are designed to help you release physical and emotional tension. You can find them online for free. There's plenty of YouTube channels out there, but somatic exercises have been shown to help you release that stress and tension from that negative event. There you go. 6 simple, easy, fun tools to help you regulate your nervous system. And you got a little on the basics of what the nervous system does. But we need to make sure that we are searching and working on our inner Zen master. So go and give your nervous system the TLC it deserves. And on that note, friends, I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you snagged some great tips for your health journey. Remember, this podcast is all about education and fun. No medical advice here. Check out the full disclaimer in the show notes. Stay in the loop by joining our newsletter at holistichealthmadesimple.com for weekly tips and tricks. Thanks for being part of our tribe. Until next time, have a fabulous day.